Great. Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Steven Song. I'm a senior marketing manager at Cisco. I'm with our enterprise networking organization. I'm so happy to have the opportunity to present to you today our new Catalyst 3850 Fiber Switch announcement. Before we get started, I would love to meet with all of you.
I'm Matt Oswald, a network engineer for VAR based out of Texas, working with networking and a little bit of software.
I'm Jonathan Davis. I actually work for a customer, a very large international customer. You can find me on Twitter at Subnetwork.
Pete Welcher. I'm a longtime CCIE, do route switch data center, work with a gold partner out of the Maryland area.
I'm Amy Arnold. I'm a network engineer in the public sector. I blog at amyengineer.com.
Rob Coots. I'm a system analyst with a K-12 school division. Find me on Twitter at Rob_Coot or online at networkingup.com.
Robert Novak. I'm a deep generalist system engineer specializing in Cisco UCS these days. I blog at ristus11.com and I'm on Twitter as Galfred.
Ethan Banks, co-host of the Packet Pushers podcast, blog at ethancbanks.com, Twitter at ecbanks, also a CCIE and senior network architect for a telemed company called Connection.
My name is Taryn Bryson. You can find me on Twitter at SomeClown. I've been a network engineer for over 20 years and now I'm a partner consultant.
Tony Backey, network engineer for enterprise networks, data centers, ISPs. Found me on Twitter at TLNAG.
Stephen Ocharosa, senior network engineer for a retail company. On Twitter at Stephen086 and blog at CCIE or level.net.
Edward Henry, network engineer. I work for a regional service provider out of the state of Connecticut, and you can find me online on Twitter at networknerd with a 3.
I'm Bob McCouch, independent networking consultant, CCIE. I blog at herdingpackets.net.
William Bell. I am a collaboration consultant, network engineer. I work at a professional services company in Mid-Atlantic, and I blog on UC Gorilla.
I'm Blake Roney. I'm kind of a big deal on the internet. And I blog and publish a podcast for mobility at nsashow.com.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's look at the agenda for this session today. I will begin with an overview of the overall Cisco Catalyst 3850 switch family, and I will then go into the details of the new fiber switch announcement. We will then go through some of the specific comparison and some of the customer benefits. Then we'll finally touch on briefly some deployment scenario. Since we have a very limited amount of time, you will find that most of this is really targeting for the general public, the content here, but I would absolutely welcome to any of the questions you may have. I understand you folks are very, very in-depth. You are great experts in the field. So if there are any questions that we do not have immediate answer, we'll make sure that we'll follow up individually on this. So to look at the Cisco Catalyst 3850 switch family, as many of you are aware, we launched this in Cisco Live London last year. That was a little over a year ago. So today's announcement is really the largest announcement since that initial introduction. The Cisco Catalyst 3850 came in with a few very innovative approaches to LAN switching and mobility altogether. It builds in the wireless LAN controller into the switching platform. That was really a convenient way for customers to really combine the mobility needs and the switching needs all together with one platform. Another apparent advantage with this new design was the unified data plane ASIC or UADP ASIC that allows flexibility instead of just a hard-coded ASIC for performance only. So we build in network programmability and performance altogether with an appropriate balance. That way customers will have the ability to upgrade their iOS software down the road. So if there are new protocols or new features that are not built into the code today, they always have the flexibility to do this later. So that's the balance.
Be clear, that's, you're saying programmable ASIC as in like what an FPGA would be, or you're talking strictly like if a new format of VXLAN has some successor now, you're saying you can bake that into the silicon with this, or?
Yeah, the silicon built in a lot of line rate capabilities, line rate calculation capabilities. So if there are new let's say protocols that are not available, we can use some of the basic, very small building blocks, if you wish, to construct a new, to support new protocols. I'll give you a couple of examples. One thing in there is what we call the search and the matching capabilities. Yeah. So if you have new expressions that do not even exist today, we can actually take those calculations and reform the protocols we support. So that's the idea behind the ASIC. Instead of hard-coded to support certain protocols. One example would be OpenFlow. When we designed the ASIC, OpenFlow was not on anyone's radar screen. But today, we can easily support this. And if any of you will be at the Cisco Live across the street, we will have actually an OpenFlow demo to show you. That's exactly built on this ASIC. Yeah, thank you for that. And we are very, very happy to announce today the new Catalyst 3850 Fiber Switch. This, as I mentioned, is the largest announcement since the initial introduction to the entire 3850 family. So let's take a very quick look at the new fiber switches. It uses the same hardware platform. It uses the same iOS XE, which is the new advanced iOS platform. It uses the same UADP ASIC. What's different is the interface. Here I'm showing two models. The top model has 12 data ports here, and the bottom module has 24 ports. These are all fiber data ports. So the main function of this new offering is to provide a network aggregation. So if you have a lot of branch offices, a lot of small switches, the access layer switches, their uplinks can go directly into all these fiber data ports. That way, it will serve as the aggregation point. And its own uplinks, you have two options. You have either 4x1 gigabit uplinks, all fiber-based, or you can have 2x10 gigabit uplinks. Now, these are not huge uplinks. So mostly, these are designed to provide support for low to medium traffic volume environments.
And to be clear, so all the main fiber ports, that's all 1 gigabit, or is that 110?
These are all 1. Yeah, data ports are all 1 gigabit. Yeah, uplinks are either 4x1 or 2x10. Okay. Yeah, these are modular. In other words, if customers buy 4x1 today, they have the ability to swap it out to plug in 2x10 down the road. Yeah.
And it will support the services module flavors as well?
Service module, right now they are designed specifically for uplinks only. You will see many of the capabilities in the past that used to require service modules, they are now all supported natively. So the requirement for service modules is minimized. Yeah, in most cases, you do not need that. One example is flexible net flow. In the past, as you know, you would have to purchase a separate module to handle flexible net flow. Today, flexible net flow is enabled on every single port natively. You don't need any additional hardware for that. I will talk about another example pretty shortly. That's about security. It's the same situation. Yeah. Now let's look at the availability and the pricing information very quickly. Today we are announcing this new offering publicly. Customers can start ordering this. Yeah, starting tomorrow, they can go to cisco.com, or we have information for our partners as well. They can also order this with their partner. They can place their order as we speak. we are targeting our first customer shipment next month. It may happen sooner, but we conservatively target it for next month. As far as the pricing, we have altogether 4 SKUs for this. We look at the hardware platform, we have 2 choices, and for each hardware platform, we have 2 IP software choices. The first one is IP base. IP base is the first module you have here, also the third module here. Or you could have IP services, which is more advanced service choice. IP base gives you basic layer 3 support for all the essential features you will need for routing and security services, etc. But for IP services, you get a more advanced support, full L3 capabilities, advanced security, full IPv6 support. So these are all provided by IP services module.
Okay, so you still need IP services for like dynamic routing with v6 and
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, literally, it's like everything you need. That would be IP services. Yeah. If you have a branch office, you know for sure this is very limited. I'm not going to change anything. I have a specific task. IP base might be sufficient. But if you know this may grow or this may have more things down the road, yeah, you might consider IP services. Yeah. So these are the 2 choices. Also, you notice the delta. It's not huge. Yeah, between the 2.
Now you mentioned some programmable capabilities of those ASICs to even be able to support things like OpenFlow. Is that going to be license-based in some fashion to be able to? Yeah.
Some essential services are already included. Yeah, like IP. Flexible net flow, those are already included. As a matter of fact, that's a terrific question. I have a feature comparison to come up right away. Yeah, we can look at that.
Quick question.
Yeah.
The uplink modules, will they be available at the same time, and how are those looking to be priced?
Those will be purchased separately. Yeah, the uplinks, because these are separate modules. You need to plug them into the platform, the switch itself. Yeah. Yeah.
Those modules are already available, aren't they?
They are available, but yeah.
They're existing modules that are
so.
Yeah. You have a default, but you want to have higher capability, like a 2x10. You have to order that separately. Yeah.
So I was going to say, somebody just asked online if Q and Q was finally listed with actual dates on the roadmap instead of just in the future, quote unquote.
Q and the Q. Q and the Q. I'm trying to figure out what it is. Yeah.
802.1 Q and Q tunneling.
Oh, that I have to take it offline. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I noticed that the pricing there is a little bit, especially when you look at the 24-port module with IP services, that's getting right up into that 4500X, range as well. What's the differentiation between that and why would I buy this over a 4500X?
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That's exactly the next slide. Timing is impeccable. Yeah. Yeah. So as I mentioned at the beginning, this platform will support up to 2x10, 20 gig uplinks, which is not bad. It's respectable. However, if you need a higher volume, then you may consider 4500X. Yeah, that gives you more uplink capabilities. So you can consider, if you want to go with fixed switches, so those 3 would be your choices. You have low to medium, medium to high. High, it would be the 6K series. The new 6880X platform is the modular form for the highest aggregation needs. Yeah, if you want to go to modular, on the other hand, you have the choice of 4500, or you could have the new 6807. Yeah, that will give you huge scalability choices. Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, that'll be the medium to high requirements would be 4500X. Yeah, as we understand, many customers were looking for this just right toolkit. Right, they may have some limited, let's say, user density. Yeah, a big tool might not be overkill for them. Okay. Yeah, so this is what this is all about.
And I assume you can stack the fiber ones in with an existing stack of copper units and do the 480 gig.
Exactly, exactly. Right. That's a huge one. I'm going to come back to talk about this. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. That is a huge point. Yeah. So earlier we talked about some of the services. Here's a comparison. Now, in the previous generation, if you look back, Cisco about 4 or 5 years ago introduced a previous generation. That was the 3750X model. That model was battle tested. Many customers deployed that. Yeah, that was for both access and fiber. They had a combination to stack copper and fiber together. So now I have this table specifically to compare the fiber models of 3750 versus the fiber models of 3850. And we can go through this very quickly. The first one is what we talk about, UADP ASIC. Because that was the older generation, it never had this flexible design. So that one was clearly not there. Stacking, you will see it's new hardware, new technology, so clearly it was a huge difference. 64 gig versus 480 gig, yeah, that's the stacking difference. Now, stackable, yeah, this is a huge point we just mentioned. Many customers were actually waiting for this fiber model because they were thinking, or they have already deployed 3850 copper access switches, and they desperately need a fiber switch to support their aggregation needs. And most customers, as we understand, don't want to deal with too many separate boxes. They would rather have them stacked together to manage as one, yeah, for simpler management and a lot of other things, resiliency, energy savings, and all those good things. So this is a huge point many customers were waiting for. Several other speeds and feeds. Then down here we have this specific SDN. Programmability covers many things. SDN is one part of this. We have clearly tested OpenFlow support. And Cisco is, by the way, also working on the ASIC enterprise module that is application policy infrastructure controller. That's the Cisco's approach to SDN. I know that's a totally separate topic, but this is tested, yeah, it's supporting that.
Any other programmatic options other than OpenFlow?
Currently, we support a few other things. One is Cisco 1PK, and another one is actually literally we use Cisco CLI, yeah, to support all these boxes right now, yeah. But down the road, the options are open. Yeah.
So your wireless support there is still just directly attached AP, so I'd have to use copper modules. Am I correct? It doesn't mean that I can have a downlink switch that could be acting on it.
That is correct, and many people ask that. Yeah, they're saying, oh, suddenly you have fiber switch. I have another low-end switch. Can I go through that low-end switch?
Right.
Yeah, to get that support.
It seems a little irrelevant to have integrated wireless controller functionality when now I'm going to need to have a power supply at the AP because it's obviously not going to serve PoE. So
Right. Exactly.
Maybe for the mesh APs or the outdoor APs.
Right, exactly. There's one unique use case. That is, you have an AP out there. You just cannot reach it with the copper switch. Then in this case, since the fiber has a huge physical length, as long as you can provide local power to that AP, and you can convert that AP, many people can easily convert that. This is one way to extend your mobility coverage. Yeah.
Parking lots and float lots would be perfect.
Exactly. A lot of people actually like it. Yeah, they like to have this option. Doesn't mean that you will do this extensively, but that option is there. Yeah. So many people really like this. Okay, I'm going to come back to look at the pricing very quickly because 3750, many customers have it. Yeah, you might have some customers that are in this situation. So if you look at a comparison between the 3750X and the 3850, you will see for IP-based models, they are at par because you see the numbers, they are the same. And when you look at the IP-based models, the new generation actually is lower compared to the 3750. So that is fairly clear.
So I've been using the term lately of Cisco virtual end of life. Buy newer, faster, but don't tick off the customers with the older model.
Right, it's a gentle way to push our customers, to nudge them a little, yeah, to say this is what this is really all about. you have every motivation to go 3850 instead of going back to 3750X. That's what this is. But some customers, for some reason, for example, they have to do some kind of certification. And they just have to replace one or two switches, 3750X. They have not made the transition yet. In that particular case, that's an exception, yeah. So we would recommend customers to consider always 3850. Right now, today we are so excited about this because literally from a technical perspective, there is no single reason out there for customers to deploy 3750X again, except this special situation, something. It's like they have a huge base and one or two died. They somehow have to deploy one. That's the only reason left. From a technical perspective, there are no other reasons to go back. So we will take another look from a customer's perspective. Yeah, what do they gain when they deploy these new fiber switches? The first one is about expanding the unified access portfolio. That's when we actually look at the wired wireless approach. This new switch, because the fiber switch can be stacked with the copper switch, all the services are preserved. And everything you get from the access layer can be expected and preserved at the aggregation layer. That's a huge point. I want to touch on security as an example. Security is down here, but I want to use that as an example. With some specific features like Cisco TrustSec. In the past, Cisco already started this deployment with what we call SAG, Security Access Group. That requires every switch in the chain to have that capability. When someone or some device come on the network, every single packet is tagged. You need to do this from the beginning to the end, from access all the way to the data center. At the access, we have all these new switches that are able to do that. At the data center side, we have Nexus switches that are able to do that. But somewhere in the middle, if this one doesn't come through, the text will be dropped, then it still doesn't help. So with an addition like 3850 fiber models, all the services will be carried along. You have a literally end-to-end service service consistency. The physical reach portion, we touched on this already. I have a number here. You can see it will cover as much as 80 kilometers, which is like probably 50-ish miles. So if you have a lot of branch offices, small buildings, you can literally use these fiber switches to connect them as an option. Yeah, it doesn't mean that you have to do this way. It's just an option out there.
It's a nice option to have. I have a manufacturing customer that's clustering in the Atlanta area where there's fiber going out to even more rural areas from their data center. And I've been discovering the hard way that some of the Cisco switches don't, that are kind of, people are thinking access closet or data center, and they don't support the longer range optics.
Right. So this one comes in at a very good time. Thank you. Yeah. So that is the benefits. That leads naturally to the deployment scenarios. Small campus buildings, branch offices, and in some cases where there's a special reason to require fiber. Yeah, whether it's a distance, whether it's a security, we understand there are some scenarios where high security requirements will lead to fiber deployment. We understand, for example, some of the high security environments, they are very interested in fiber to the desktop, FTTD deployments. So instead of connecting to an access switch, these fiber connections goes right into the desktops. Yeah, so that is an option. Yeah, so that's a scenario. So I see Tom is ready to wrap up the video. So I will point this to all of you. These are additional resources. You can learn more information about this, and I will send the slides to Stephen. Yeah, thank you so much for your attention. Yeah, it's quite a pleasure to talk to all of you about this great product that we are very excited about this. Thank you. Thank you.